So in this demonstration, we are now going to install the SQL Server on this SQL Server machine. So this is the server which we have called SQL2008R2, and we are going to install SQL Server on it. So we have attached the installation DVD, and we're going to run the setup.exe. Yep. So I logged in as the local administrator on the machine, and then I went to the DVD, and there I can see the files. Double click setup to start the installation. Wait for it to come up. So now it's asking us that SQL Server 2008R2 setup requires .NET framework and an updated Windows installer to be installed. So to enable, just click OK. So let's do that. I'm going to minimize this. It's out of the way. Wait for it to load now. So there, it's loading now. Just have to wait for it to. So basically it is expanding the compressed file. Everything on the DVD is compressed. So it has to decompress it. It decompresses it, and then it will allow us to continue. So now we're looking at the opening screen for the SQL Server Installation Center. On the left side, you have things like planning, installation, maintenance, tools, resources, advanced, and options. I'll go through each page separately. On the planning page, you can go through the hardware, software requirements. You can go through the security documentation, the online release notes, setup documentation, system configuration checker, the install upgrade advisor, online installation help, etc. So it takes you online to Microsoft.com, and then you can view the requirements. Okay. We tapped in the browser. Okay. So there you can see the hardware and software requirements for installing SQL Server 2008R2. You can even see it outside. You don't have to do it inside the virtual, right? So after you go through the whole list, then we are ready. We are going to start the installation. So to start the installation, we click on the installation page, go through all the different options, and because we don't have any installation, we are going to pick a new one, new installation. So this is going to start the installation for us. Now we want to use domain accounts to install SQL Server. So we need to create domain accounts. So while this is coming up, it's checking all the prereqs, etc. Everything passed. Click OK. So while it is doing all this, we can go in to the domain controller and create the accounts. So I'm going to create 4 or 5 new accounts. So first I'm going to select SQL Service. SQL Service. SCRVICE. Check your spellings, okay? Check my spellings. Okay, make sure you use the same password. Make sure you say password never expires. and user cannot change password because these are going to be our service accounts. We don't want these to expire or change. You can just copy this. Okay. Can copy SQL agent. See, I don't have to select user cannot change password because I made a copy, right? Save me the trouble. So now I got the agent. I need one for reporting services. So copy. This will be SQL report. SQL report. So that is done. Then I'll just take one more for SSIS integration. I'll just call it SSIS. SSIS. Done. Finish. So we created enough accounts. We created SQL agent. We created SQL service. And we created SQL report and SSIS. Okay. So we are going to use these accounts to do the installation. So we have created all these accounts. Now we are going to use them to install SQL Server. You have to accept the license, and you don't have to send the feature usage data to Microsoft if you don't want to, your choice. Now we are ready, so you can start the installation. We'll just wait for this. There's the progress. It's going well. So as you can see, the initial installation has started. It has extracted all the requirements. Now it's ready. So only thing is the .NET application security and firewall. You can look at the warnings if you want. Computer cannot access the internet. Okay, that's fine. And firewall. Windows firewall is enabled. Make sure the appropriate ports are open. Okay. So other than that, we are ready to go. So now the options are to install SQL Server feature installation. That will give us database engine, analysis services, reporting services, integration services, and other features. Or SQL Server Power Pivot for SharePoint, or all features with defaults. We're going to always go with the SQL Server feature installation, so we can decide what we want. Okay. So now we can pick and choose what you want and then install it where you want it. In this example, we are going to take everything because we just want everything. Typically, you may not want to select everything. By the way, this is for the database. You're going to get separate prompts, for example, for analysis and for reporting, which is coming up, as you can see. And the default locations are on the C drive. I would never do that. I would actually try to put it on separate drives. In this example, we don't have any of the drives, so we have no choice but to put it in the default location. But in the real world, I would not be putting it on the default locations. I would have additional drives for the directory and keep it there. So in this example, I just go next and always check the details to see what happened, if there are any warnings, right, or any errors, anything like that. No, everything is clean. Then you can go next. Now, the first time you install SQL Server is always the default. It's always called MS SQL Server, and that's the default location where it goes. If you have a separate D drive, E drive, F drive, then that's where it should go. I don't have one, so I'll just go next. This is very important. See, it says it needs about 6 gigabytes on the C drive and about 91 gigabytes is available, but it needs about 6109 megabytes to be precise, and gives you the breakdown. So on the C drive, it's going to put 3189 megabytes. On the shared install directory, it's 1416 megabytes, and on the instance directory, 1504. Right? This could have been on separate drives if you had them. Okay, now go next. Now, this is very important, so I'm going to fill this out with all the different accounts we created. Okay, so give me a second. So we are using the local account to install SQL Server because we're having a problem with the seeds from all the domain accounts. So we may not be able to get access to the network with this installation, but this is just a demonstration. We'll do another one. This is data directories. Recommendation is to put all of these on separate drives. So the data root directory, separate drive, user database directory, separate, user database log, separate drive. So you need like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drives. I repeat. If you're connecting to a SAN storage area network, then you can create 20 drives and put each one on a separate one. Now, file stream, very important. You can enable this later on also. Basically allows you to access objects outside of SQL Server. In this case, it may not yet work because we are not able to get out of the SQL Server. But anyway, if you want file stream, you turn it on here. We're going to cover it again. Make sure you add the current user to every part of SQL. Otherwise, you yourself won't have any access. So and again, data directories should be spread out onto different drives. Now here you can duplicate the drives. So basically you could put the data logs. So you can have one drive which is for all the data, one drive for all the logs. So when you back it up, you have all the data, all the logs, right? Then the temp directory should be in a separate location by itself. So we are ready. This is now reporting services. You have 3 options. Install the native mode, which is the default. That's what we're going to use. If you have to support SharePoint, then you can install the SharePoint integrated mode. And finally, install but don't configure the report server, which is no good. We choose the first option. Do you want to send Windows and SQL Server error reports to Microsoft? Up to you. You decide. And we are ready to go. So now this is very important. Make sure you copy this file and keep it in a safe place, because at the end of the installation here you can get the configuration. I'm going to copy it, open Notepad, and keep it safe. There, keep this safe as SQL Server config file. It's going to documents. Let it be. Okay. Oh, take out the star. Good. Saved. We'll come back and check it after the installation. And now we are ready to install. And this is going to take like 10-15 minutes, so we'll come back and check when it's done. This installation is almost halfway there, and it's going to take another 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop this presentation here. At the end of this installation, I'll record another video demonstrating the verification that SQL Server was successfully installed. All right, thank you.